All right, I'm come grab a seat then. So register. Alright, so let's start looking at communication. Alright? What three methods of communication do we use in face-to-face encounters? Alright, so face-to-face what do we use? Alright, three methods. Anyone know?
Verbal.
Alright, let me start this way first. Yeah, good.
Verbal.
Alright, 1 minute. Give me a second. Alright, yeah, he's on point. I woke up late this morning. Alright, let me do this first because I'm in a good mood. And not everyone's there. All the stingers are gone. I can start giving you some promise. Anyone seen that before?
No.
Anyone ever seen that before? No? Sender, encoder, message, decoder, receiver. Is that running?
Yes.
Right, so when we say we're sending out a message, do you understand what I'm talking about when we say sending out a message? I'm talking to you now. So if I was to say to you, io studio italiano alla Università Padovani, adesso così così, okay? Not a bit? No? Okay, right. If I say to you I went to university for 2 years and studied Italian for 2 years, you understand? I'm speaking in a language. What I'm doing is I'm encoding it. Alright? So because I spoke to you in very poor Italian, right? But I was encoding it in a different language, so you couldn't understand it. So therefore you couldn't receive the message. You couldn't decode the message to receive the message. Alright? If you think of something like a transmitter sits up on this, or the old-fashioned way, my headphone camera, just watch it. Right? Sits up like that, and it sends out signals. And then it has a receiver, and it's transmitting between the two. Alright? So if the signal's not clear, what generally happens? Don't get through? Or what happens to a line if you're tuning in even digitally? What happens with the radio when you're tuning it in and it's not? Interference, right. And that interference is what generally happens when people are communicating. Most people do not communicate. They talk at people. They talk at each other. Do you understand? They're not communicating. They think they're communicating. They talk and talk and talk. If you doubt me, go to a pub or a social place on a Friday night or somewhere like that and just hear the babble that's going on. That's why I like to say it's Babylon, right? Because it's a babble. Yeah? They don't actually tune into what's actually being said. How many years you got? 2. How many mouths?
1.
Alright, so use them in that order from now on. Alright? Most people do not use them in that order, not actually listening to what's being said. So therefore, when the message is being encoded, the message being sent is not being decoded to be received. Okay? And that's where miscommunication comes in, and that's where most people lose business, when they're selling. Okay? Because what they do is they tell you, they don't actually sell. They're not actually receiving what that person's saying. If I say to you, is it too expensive, what would you say to me? If I said it was too expensive, what would you say?
Compared to what?
Right, but you've done sales mastery, good boy. Compared to what? But most people, when they say too expensive, what's the first thing a salesperson needs to do? Generally, when someone says too expensive, lower the price. Alright? But that's not what the person's saying, really, is it? What the person's saying, what you've told me, I don't see the value in it. I don't see it as worth that. So when I say to you compared to what, or in comparison to what, now I'm putting you on the back foot. Yeah? Because if you've got nothing to compare it to, then you're in Babylon, right? And I'm on the right side. So this is what I'm saying. When you're actually sending out a message and encode it, make sure that you're checking that what you're saying is being said. And to do that, you've got to listen, you've got to acknowledge what that person said. How do you acknowledge what that person said?
Asking them a question and receive the...
That's one way of doing it, right? Ask them a question about what you said, or what else? What's another way you can acknowledge it? Right, so that person knows they've been heard, what they've said that you know.
Is that alright?
Yeah, some of us, exactly. Alright, repeat it. Alright, if I repeat to you what you just said to me, that's telling you that I've just listened to what you said. Alright? And then I can check to make sure that what you've said to me is what I think you've said to me. How many times you told someone something and they've gone and got it all completely wrong? Alright? Or when you're younger, mum and dad might send you to the shops and they say, get 2 sugars, this, that, or you come back with the wrong stuff. They say, well, I didn't say that. I told you to go and get this, but you thought you heard something different. We've all been there, right? Or you've told someone something, and you think they've heard what you've said, and you go and they've done something completely different to what you've said, and now you're fuming, right? I've done what I tell you, right? Because they haven't actually decoded what you've said properly. They're taking it in another context. So your job in sales is to make sure that you check that that person's understood what you said by acknowledging what they've said, by summarizing, but also by checking what you said is what that person thinks. So I'm taking it that when you say that you travel here today by train, I'm taking it that what you meant was a comfortable journey. Would that be right?
Yeah.
All right, or was it uncomfortable? You understand? So I'm just making sure that we're on the right page here, just to make sure we're following it along. Let me just clarify and summarise what's been said and check that everything that you're saying is clear, because I want us to get the best possible service. All right? And then you can make inquiries. Would there be anything else that you may want? Or would there be anything else on top of that that you need? Would there be any other needs that you need? Inquire. That way you're erasing what we call the hidden objections. You're working down the line. When you're actually selling, you're going down a pathway. I've shown this quite a few times today. And you're going down a pathway. It's like, well, in business there's a model called the fishbone, but we're not going to go into that today. All right? But if you think of it like this, and you're going through doors, all right? And each door, at the end of here, there's a golden nugget. The golden nugget is the result, right? So you've got pounds at the end of it, right? Now, when you're going down, what most salespeople do, they fast track through what they're doing. They tell people everything about what they're doing, their service, their package, everything else. That's all they want to get at. They can't wait to get it out to say how wonderful and how fantastic it is. Because at the end of it, I just want to get the business. So they're actually pushing it. But if you're going through and asking careful questions to identify what that person wants and shutting off the doors, okay? What happens when you get to the other end? If you shut all the doors along the way, what happens? Right, it's a straight path, right? But if you actually have left doors open, what do you think happens then?
Then you can go back and like read.
Right, but what do you think the client's going to do to you? What do you think the client says at the end of it? I need to think about it. I'm not too sure, I need to think about it. I need to think, right, the reason why you're getting that is you ain't done your job right. Alright, simple as that. You ain't done your job right. Anytime you get that in a selling situation, just say, I've done my job right. What have I missed? I've missed something. I haven't identified that person's needs enough. And we have another model which we call the bite model, which some of you who've done sales mastery will see, and some of you going on to it will see it, and it stands for background, issues, knock-on, enthusiastic questions. And without getting too much into that, what we're really saying here is the background of what they're about. You ask a few questions there, but this is the key, the issue questions. Alright, what do you think issues are in selling? If I said to you when you're selling, you had to cater for what of the customer, what would it be?
Needs.
Right, needs, right? So, issues are needs, right? But most people, when they're dealing with needs, do they actually listen to the need? Right, they're not listening to the need. Because when they listen to the need, okay, you got here today, you travelled by, what did you travel by? Train. Okay, was it a nice journey?
Yes,
Alright, now suppose I said you could get a cab, would that be something that would be more applicable to you?
yeah.
Alright, but why is it you didn't get a cab today?
Because of the money.
Because of the money. So supposing that you could get the capital to take the cab, would that be so good? Or would you still be happy to take the bus and save money, or the tube and take money? Alright, and what are the headaches of taking the tube?
Other people on the train.
Other people, yeah?
Space.
And how does that make you feel?
Not too good exactly.
Not too good, yeah? It's quite infuriating at times, isn't it?
Sometimes that busy for you.
When you say a bit of a headache at busy times, you can't sit down, your feet start aching, would that be right? Yeah? And when you're standing up on your feet, do your feet quite painful? Yeah? Right. And do you stand up on your feet for long periods of time all the time, or are you quite happy standing up on your feet long periods?
No, not really.
Long periods, so let me just get this right. It's just about the money then, is it? Alright, so put the money to one side. Let me get this straight. Would you be happy to take the train if it weren't for the money? Or would you prefer to take the cab?
Prefer to take the cab.
Right, you prefer to take the cab. So what am I doing to them?
Basically, putting that few questions and making that one short answer on that.
Right. But what am I doing to him? What am I clarifying when I'm asking him about his theme, about his pain, what the real issues are? I'm taking him down. I'm making him feel down sound. Right? I can make him talk about that need and how your feet pain you and how your bunions are kicking out and you've got to have the right sole, why you're there and how long you've got to stand up for and so on. And the more I keep him talking about that, what am I actually doing? identifying his need, but also opening up his need. Because a lot of the time we identify the need, but we don't go into it. We don't go down into the zone. So they're not feeling demoralised. Now you might think it's unethical, but it's not unethical, because what happens at the end, if you don't dig out the real basis of the need, the client at the end will start to think about it. Right? Whereas, if you actually listen to them, like anyone else, who's ever had a mate and you need a shoulder to lie on? Right? And you're sitting there and they're talking, and you're, yeah, okay, that's really good, okay, alright, okay, and they're pouring their heart out to you. You ever read that? That's how you got to get clients. Okay? Pouring their heart out to you. Alright? Like all the issues, all the problems, whatever. Because by the time they're finished, what do you think they're seeing you as? Right? You're the listening shoulder. Right? Or say, however you want to put it, you're the shoulder player. You're different from all the other guys, right? Because you don't just want to sell. Right? What you want, you actually genuinely care. And you do genuinely care. You should genuinely care about your customers. Alright? Because at the end of it, if you've got no customers, what have you got in business? Right. So it doesn't make sense that when you get in front of somebody that you actually take time to really work that person correctly and listen to what that person really wants. Or are you just going to go and cut the deal? If it's just about the deal, then what happens? You're going to keep looking to cut the deal, and then you're going to get a trailer of mess coming out. Whereas if you actually take that client and think, hold on, I can work with this client for the next 5-10 years. I'm going to work with this client for the next 5-10 years. What's the foundation that I'm going to build this relationship? It's trust. Now, how do you win trust? Empathy. How do you win that?
By listening to someone.
By listening to someone. Not talking at them how brilliant what you do is. Because I've heard all that before. I don't care what brilliant what you do is. All I care about is me. What I want to achieve. And that's where most salespeople go wrong. 95% of salespeople will just blast their product out, blast their service out, rather than actually listening to what that person's true problems are. And what issues they've had with that problems. Alright? I could be going down to the train timetables and all sorts of things, the jams on the train, and there's so many different issues that surround somebody taking a train. Alright, there's with the cab, but with the cab you've also got the bonus, you're able to read, you're able to relax, you're able to kick back, you've got someone driving you, shoulder service, so when I'm getting them in that mode, I'm saying, how would that make you feel? Suppose we could get you in the cab, how would that make you feel? Would you feel more comfortable? Do you think you get more time to do this? What do you think you'd be able to the advantages of that? Do you understand what I'm saying? So first of all, you've got to take them down into that hole of despair, alright, and then bring them back up. But before you bring them back up, don't rush to bring them up, because when you've got them down, alright, you've got them down, you've got your foot on their head, so to speak, okay? What are you laying them up for? Who's ever heard of the Socrates story? Never heard the Socrates story? Well, the student approaches Socrates and says, Master, I want to teach you. So he grabs him, pins him down, slams him under the water, sticks his foot on his head, until he's near enough drowning on the verge of death. And then he lets him up and he says, Master, why'd you do that? He says, because when your first quest for knowledge is as much as it was for life, that moment you're ready to live. Do you understand? Alright? And that's what I'm talking about. A bit of philosophy, psychology. Alright? Customers need to be taken down so they seriously think about what really they do need. Because they might think they need one thing, but that's not really what they need. Your job is to go in there and consult them, become consultative selling, by listening to them, right? And actually repeating back what they're saying to them. It's actually hearing themselves, so you're working like a sounding. Because you've already got a solution, but you don't want to give them a solution in the beginning. If you give them a solution in the beginning, well, you're right, if I went to the doctor's, and the doctor said to me, right, I said, doctor, I feel like I've got the flu. And the doctor said, okay, here's some Lemsip, or here's some tablets, go and take them, paracetamol, whatever, go and take them. Would I be happy if he just prescribed them? What does the doctor do? Would he just give me tablets like that?
Diagnose, isn't it?
Diagnosis. Alright? When he diagnoses, what is he more likely to do? To make me feel better. So I know I'm being checked out. He doesn't have to. What does he do? What's he got around his neck? He's got an instrument, but what does he do that stethoscope? Put it on your chest, cough, and when he's doing it, he's got like, oh, I feel all ill, you feel more ill, because he's making you feel, oh, I feel, I'm gonna die, cough, you want it to sound really bad, because you're trying to get time off work, right? Yeah? Because you want him to sign off that 60 quick time, right? Yeah? Now he knows you're half sick. but at the end of it, he knows what he's going to prescribe. So he's now diagnosing and giving you the remedy at the end of it. Alright? But if you just sit there, take them tablets, get out of here, NHS, you take them off the NHS, what are you going to do? You're going to say, ain't nothing about there again. Because you're not going to feel like you listen to them. Alright? And that's what you get. You get an abrupt doctor, you soon start to think, oh, well, that doctor is bloody rude, they might do you a favour. But they're not there to do it, they're there to listen. What are your symptoms? So understand that all the time. Listen to what a symptom is. You've got to diagnose what a symptom is. What a client thinks their symptom is may not be what the symptom is. So you need to pick up the symptom. Whatever you're selling to them, is there really a need for my products? If there's not, move on. Okay? Simple as that. Do not try and push something on somebody. This is where the ethic comes in. That is not a problem. Because all that's going to happen is going to become a mis-sell. Up the road, they're only going to be happy. Or don't just take deals for the sake of money, because it will come around to bite you. Especially if you want to build a career in that industry. Okay? And the hardest way to get it is climbing uphill. Hardest way to get it is climbing uphill. When you're there, how quick is it to bring it down? What's the fastest way to bring someone down? Is it television? Is it media? I'll turn this off for a while, I'm sweating. Is it television? Is it when you guys get cold? Is it television or media? Or is it word of mouth? If I want to bring someone down, what's the most powerful way to bring someone down? Word of mouth. So if they start telling customers how crap you are and how piss poor you are, what do you think's going to happen to your reputation? Do you understand? That's what you've got to think about. So at all times, understand when you communicate with people, it's asymmetric. It's got to be a two-way process. Okay? Is that clear, everybody? Everyone clear on that?
What's the LNA?
Latest, listen, acknowledge, check and inquire. That underpins sender, encoder, message, decoder, receiver. Okay? Stop telling and start selling. That's the bottom line here. Listen to people. Listen to what they really want. And you'll find yourselves go through the roof. Alright? When you're actually just talking at people and throwing off a script, that's where the problems start. Because you can't wait to get that script out. And yeah, you may experience that in sales companies, but when you get it and you get into a situation like that, take the script, work the script, but adapt the script to your style. There's ways and means you can do it. Alright? I was just working with one of the young apprentices last week, and he had a script, and I said to him, well, he said, I can't see how the sales mastery approach works within this. I said, well, instead of telling them, this is what our product does, we'll find out if that's what they want. What would you do? What could happen for you if you had a product that could do this? Do you see what I'm saying? What did you think if you'd done a demonstration? What did you think of the demonstration? How do you think that could help you? So get them telling you how they think it could help you, rather than you telling them how brilliant it is and what greatness it is and everything it does. Because 9 times out of 10, when you get to the end and you give all these bundles of features, right, and all these so-called benefits that you're giving, what does the client do? When you give so much, what do they turn around and say to 9 times out of 10?
Speak to you later.
Speak to you later, yeah, that's one. But what about it's too expensive? When the client says it's too expensive, what are they really saying? Half of what you got I don't need. It's too expensive. Because I don't see the need for all of that. I just want that. So if you're doing that, just give you that and chop off all the rest. Yeah? Got to bring price down, yeah. So I don't need all of that. I need that. Yeah, if I only need that, say 50% of what you got, then I'm looking at 50% reduction, right? Whereas if I'm allowing you to see why you need what I've got and question you accordingly to see why you need what I've got, I'm taking you through the psychology of the sale. Is that clear? Any questions on that? No? Let's move on. So let's have a look at what are the 3 methods of communication using face-to-face encounters. Listening, tone of voice, words, body language, otherwise known as visual, audio, kinesthetic. Anyone ever seen the back model before? Visual, audio, kinesthetic. Okay, so when I say visual, what am I talking about in face-to-face communication? Pardon me? Speak up.
Eye contact.
Eye contact, right. Right, eye contact. Yeah? It's visual, isn't it? Yeah? What else am I talking about? You won't even get down to the deep of it. First impression always counts, right? Right, so do you think my impression to that customer is going to be good, whether I'm on the phone or whether I'm presenting myself to that customer? We're talking face to face, so slightly off the phone, face to face. Do you think my impression is going to be good? So if I come through there and I've got good posture, I'm strong about what I'm doing, do you think that client's going to be impressed or?